Tonight, governing MPP group in Parliament braced for a showdown with NDC colleagues as both sides prepare to occupy the majority side of Parliament's divided House despite order by the Supreme Court staying the execution of the Speaker's declaration.
The NDC now constitute the majority caucus in this 8th Parliament. We will jealously protect our new majority status and will not bow, retreat, nor surrender.
If they will not respect the decision of the Supreme Court, we will not respect the decision of the Speaker, because that will not stay. It has already been stayed down.
We have details as the NDC caucus continue their onslaught on the Supreme Court for its ruling staying the execution of the declaration by the Speaker.
You should have knowledgeable people in the Supreme Court. You should have people who know their law. If they were knowledgeable, they would have known. The U.S. Supreme Court, in the case of Baker and Carr, said that there are certain matters that are, by their nature, political matters within the domain of the legislature and the executive.
And tonight we're hearing from senior citizens who are calling for cool heads to prevail.
I don't think it's in our own interest, because the kind of confusion which is being created now, I do not know where it's going to lead this nation.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies and holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Tonight, we are hours away from a showdown in Parliament. The situation many say could lead to a constitutional crisis. The NDC in Parliament say they are in the majority despite a Supreme Court ordering Parliament to stay the ruling of the Speaker and allow the 4 MPs whose seats were declared vacant to continue performing as MPs until the full determination of a case filed by the Majority Leader Alexander Fenyomake. The Minority Leader Dr. Kaisala Tafosing set the stage for the showdown yesterday when he said at a news conference that his side is the Majority Caucus despite the order of the court.
For the avoidance of doubt, the Speaker's decisions to declare the 4 seat vacant is lawful exercise of his responsibilities derived from the 1992 Constitution and the Standing Orders of Parliament. The effect of the Speaker's declaration is that currently we no longer have an independent member of Parliament. The MPP has 135 members of Parliament only. The NDC has 136 members of Parliament, and there is no second Deputy Speaker of Parliament. This effectively alters the configuration of the 8th Parliament significantly. The NPP group in Parliament are now the minority caucus as defined by the relevant sections of Order 6 of the Standing Orders of Parliament. The minority caucus means members of the party or parties that have the second largest number of seats in Parliament. Honourable colleagues, the NDC MPs in Parliament now constitute the majority caucus in line with the Standing Orders of Ghana's Parliament. Yeah. Fellow countrymen and women, the NDC now constitute the majority caucus in this 8th Parliament. We will jealously protect our new majority status and will not bow, retreat, nor surrender our lawfully earned status. Yeah. I repeat, fellow countrymen and women, the NDC now constitute the majority caucus in this 8th Parliament. We will jealously protect our newly majority status and will not bow, retreat, nor surrender our lawfully earned status.
Yeah. Well, this was yesterday. Today, we are hearing from the MPP side. They are fighting back, warning they will resist any attempt by the NDC to carry itself out as the majority tomorrow. Listen to the Deputy Majority Whip, Habib Idrissa.
Our colleagues yesterday, I listened to their press conference, still insisting that their majority is just their desperation of being majority. I have said it before. If you look at the claim that they are having for being majority was to the effect that the Speaker of Parliament had read a ruling on Thursday on the 17th saying that 4 of our members are no more members of Parliament or their seat is vacant. And then we in the majority caucus, as law-abiding citizens, we did the right thing. We could also elect to say that the Speaker has no authority to interpret the Constitution or declare those seats vacant, and for that matter, we don't respect him. But what we elected to do was to go to the appropriate forum, which is the Supreme Court, that has the power to interpret the Constitution in Article 97, 1G. And then the right thing was done. The stay of the ruling of the Speaker was granted by the Supreme Court by 5-0 panel judges. And for that matter, tomorrow when we go to Parliament, we are just majority. The whole thing is back to factory research, means that we are going to sit in our majority side on our seats because we are 138 members based on the Supreme Court ruling, and they are 137. So we are majority. Because what I just want to say, and to be able to say that we respected the rule of law, we respected the decisions, and we went to the right forum. So they should also respect. If they will not respect the decision of the Supreme Court, we will not respect the decision of the Speaker, because that will not stay. It has already been stayed down.
Well, the entrenched positions taken by the two sides, both the NPP and the NDC, most people have described as a recipe for chaos, and that showdown that we are all avoiding. Are there moves in particular between the two sides, the leadership of two sides, to ensure that there's some cool heads that will prevail ahead of tomorrow's sitting?
Yeah, exactly what the leadership is trying to do. We're trying to be able to build consensus, and the beginning of this Parliament, that's what we have been doing.
Well, the stage is set for an explosive sitting tomorrow in Parliament, and already some senior citizens are beginning to call for calm. Former president of the Ghana Bar Association and member of the Council of State, Samuel Kudjeto, says cool heads must prevail.
Well, it just had to be clear to all of us that Parliament makes the law, but Parliament does not interpret the law. And the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. It was not Parliament that made the Constitution. It's the people of Ghana. If you read the preamble, it's quite clear. I don't think it's in our own interest, because the kind of confusion which is being created now, I do not know where it's going to lead this nation. If a Supreme Court has urged, we go to the court to go and argue them to change their mind if it is possible. That is all that there is to it. He said to be quoting the Constitution, I'm telling him that the Supreme Court, according to our Constitution, has an overall jurisdiction on all matters. And that when we are talking about human rights, who took the people to the matter to the Supreme Court, to the Supreme Court because of violation of human rights? Who did? Who said that? They are the ones fabricating that. There was no such application, as far as I am aware, that the matter they took the Supreme Court was a violation of human rights. Constitutionally, it is only the Supreme Court that has the power to interpret the Constitution, not Parliament. Not Parliament, not the High Court. Indeed, the Constitution says that if a matter is pending before the High Court, and there is an issue of constitutional interpretation, they must stop and refer the matter to the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court ruling.
And we understand over the last few hours that there have been attempts by some statesmen in this country to try and mediate between the two sides, even including the judiciary also, the judiciary, parliament, MPs themselves, to try and get some closure and understanding, some common ground ahead of tomorrow. I want to bring in Habib Idris, who's the first Deputy Majority Whip, joins us on the line right now. Thank you, sir, for your time here on Top Story. And I wonder, going into tomorrow, I mean, everybody's looking to all of you, reps of constituents across the country, to behave, to put it bluntly. Have there been an attempt today among yourselves to try and agree on the best way to best represent your constituents in the House tomorrow to avoid violence, such as we saw when we were commencing the life of this Parliament?
Yes, Evans, based on the press conference the minority made yesterday, cooperation is suffering at the moment as a result of the entrenched positions they took after they read their press conference. So cooperation is suffering. We haven't been able to meet as leadership, even leadership from their side and our side. But what I can tell you is that Parliament has been served by the court order, and then the ruling of the court has been served, and it means that there's no problem at all, nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about in the sense that the NDC were claiming majority on the effect that the Speaker had ruled that 4 of our members are no more members of the House. And then they said that based on that, they calculated to be 136 and MPP was 135. But that has been stayed and Parliament has been served. So it means that MPP caucus, we are 138, and then the NDC caucus, they are 137. So I don't see any problem happening tomorrow.
You say Parliament has been served. Has the Speaker acknowledged receipt of this?
Speaker have already indicated the last time he did indicate that if you are going to serve something, I think it was a formal communication he read in Parliament, of which a copy was given to the judiciary, that members of Parliament, clerk to Parliament and Speaker of Parliament, if you want to serve them on any court proceedings or process, you should be able to do it on Mondays. But any other thing can be served. And then he has appointed the Director of Legal to be able to receive the services when he's coming to be the Speaker. And that has been done because the immunity members of Parliament, Clerk of Parliament and Speaker of Parliament is enjoying under the Constitution. The Director of Legal of Parliament doesn't enjoy that. So he can be served at any time. And he has been duly served based on the directive of the Speaker.
But he must then, once he receives this, interpret this on the floor, because again, I've heard many argue that if you go to Constitution Article 115, explicitly proceedings in Parliament shall not be impeached by any body outside of Parliament itself. And many have said that the Supreme Court does not have the power and the mandate to injunct Parliament in the lawful conduct of this constitutional mandate.
I don't think what the Supreme Court did was injuncting Parliament. What the Supreme Court did was to invoke its own original jurisdiction. They have the exclusivity of interpreting the Constitution. And what was filed before, and then an injunction was issued, sent rather to be served to Parliament, of which the Speaker acknowledged that the majority leader, Honorable Afenyo Markins, attempted, and then they threw it at the clerk, at the Director of Legal. Now, the whole issue is that the ball of contention is that Speaker is of the view that what is explained in Article 97(1) G and H is to the effect that when they file to contest the election, definitely they have vacated their seats. But the same Constitution in Article 1126 also states that 3 months to election, you cannot do by-election. Those people were not heard. Does that mean that those constituencies will not also have representation? And they are not seeking to remain in the 8th Parliament. That's why we have gone to the appropriate form, that is the Supreme Court, that have the exclusivity of interpreting the Constitution. Parliament, we make laws, but we don't interpret the Constitution. The Ghana, we are running a supreme constitutional base, of which all the arms of government derive its powers from the Constitution. And the Constitution can only be interpreted by the Supreme Court. That's why we went to the appropriate forum for them to interpret the Constitution. So what Supreme Court did was not to tell Parliament not to do your job, but to say that you cannot do our job for us. If there is a matter of ambiguity in the interpretation of the Constitution, it is the Supreme Court that's supposed to do that. And that's exactly, we went to the right forum.
You make the point that constituents should not suffer the consequence of this particular feud between yourselves and I guess the NDC side, where they will not have representation. But we know of a case that has run for 4 years. Santro Kofi Likpe and Lolobi, they've not had representation for 4 years. What's different here?
The difference is that in the case of these members, they were already duly elected into the 8th Parliament. In the case of the SAL that you are referring to, a district was created, and for that matter, a constituency need to be created. That has not to do with Parliament. It has to do with the fact that the Electoral Commission and other agencies involved needed to be able to make sure that this happened. What Parliament needed to do was done. And what I am trying to say is that the Speaker don't have any authority to interpret the Constitution and draw conclusions. If there are ambiguity, the most important agency or arm of government that's supposed to interpret the Constitution is the Supreme Court. That is why when he said, we also had the right, when the Speaker had said that those 4 members of Parliament are no more members of Parliament, we could also say that we disagree with him and also say that those members can come and sit in the chamber. But because MPP and the majority caucus were law-abiding citizens, we respected that. But we went to the appropriate forum and filed our necessary document, and that is the Supreme Court, and they stay his ruling. For the fact that he has been served, I don't think that we even have any ruling of the Speaker that is still pending. That has been stayed.
We've heard the minority side, the NDC side, and they've been very categorical that tomorrow they are going to take the seat on the right side of the Speaker where normally you occupy as a majority. You've heard that. They haven't changed their stance on this even today. This sets it up tomorrow for a very tense few hours before we get clarity on what's going to happen. What's your position on this? As if you go into the House and the minority side, as in the NDC side, carry out what they've already told this country they would, what will your side do?
You see, Evans, I know you have been following parliamentary proceedings, and you could realize that this is not the first time the NDC attempt to sit in the majority side. They had done that in this 8th Parliament, that the Speaker had to come and give a ruling and give the interpretation that we are the majority to settle the score. We are majority. If we go into the Parliament to sit and they are seated at the majority side, we would definitely, I don't think they would do that. But you see, the desperation of the NDC to becoming majority is at the psychiatric level. And if they want to be majority, we are going for election in 46 days' time. They should go and bring majority seat. When they come, we will not involve in their drama, revolutionary things that they are chanting and whatever they are planning. We will not be involved with that. We are law-abiding citizens. Why we know that the stay of the Supreme Court have been served on the Speaker, and we expect him to respect the decision of the Supreme Court. If they are coming with their dramas, we will not be part of that drama.
So, on the subject, though, of what may or may not happen tomorrow, you mentioned earlier that cooperation has broken down. Does this suggest that today there have been attempts to get both of you to talk, to resolve this ahead of tomorrow?
Like I indicated earlier on, cooperation have suffered as a result of the press conference the NDC made. They have made entrenched positions, which we know their positions are wrong. I think you played earlier on when the minority leader was saying that they are going to protect their majority. Which majority? The one the Speaker said you have? It is not done that way. So for that matter, it has made cooperation to suffer. The majority leadership, we have had our meetings, and we have been able to have a meeting with our colleagues. Tomorrow we'll have a caucus meeting as a majority. The minority, whatever they are doing, is on their side. Because of their entrenched position, it has made cooperation to stall. It has made us not to be able to reach to each other, because to sit down to negotiate means that you need to give up something, another thing. But they have made it categorical, and they have taken an entrenched position. And we know we are majority because we are 138 and they are 137. 137 cannot be majority more than 138. It's unheard of.
In the interim, though, as we wait to see what will happen tomorrow, you've already made your position clear on the matter that you believe you're majority. They say we're yet to hear from them, because I know there have been attempts to try and get both sides to try and talk. You make the point that this has led to a breakdown in any means of trying to communicate. Are you willing to sit, though, just from your side? Are you willing to sit to talk ahead of tomorrow?
Yes, the only way we always sit, we always talk. We have this parliament.
Because the suggestion is that the leaders should at least meet with the Speaker and come to some understanding before sitting resumes tomorrow.
I think that will be done tomorrow, because as I speak now, it's already past 5, almost getting to 6, and that hasn't happened. But any time before we go into the chamber every morning, leadership of both sides meet the speaker so that we'll be able to discuss what we are going to do before we go into the chamber. So I know very well that tomorrow morning, the leadership of both sides and the speaker will be having our meeting. And I'm very much aware that both caucuses will also have their own meetings tomorrow before we meet the speaker, and then we go in at conclave. But what I can tell you is that the New Patriotic Party and the Majority Caucus, we are made up of 138 members. The NDC are made up of 137 members, and we are majority, and we are not going to fight over that.
Yesterday, we have from the NDC side that the government is planning to deploy the military within the precinct of Parliament tomorrow. Is that true?
That is not true, and that is all their own thinking and imagination. And this is not the first time that they have been thinking that. What would the military come in there to do? We've been there before. We and them have always had problems. What have they been ever defeated us on? This government, even with our 137, coupled with a lot of problems, have been able to pass every government business that we ought to fight. So why will we have to bring military in there? To do what? Are they members of parliament? Are they coming to vote? No. Normally, when we are doing parliamentary proceedings, there are security there, but they are not military. We have police officers who are there, probably sometimes national security officers who are there, because ministers who attend come with their police officers. The parliament itself has its own police. There are marshals and some other.
So no military, but no military.
Of any organized military coming to parliament tomorrow.
You say no military, but are you beefing up the regular security that parliament will have, the police, etc. tomorrow? You also mentioned national security.
Even
this is going to be business as usual tomorrow.
Is that normally, even whether there is a problem or not, there are police and national security people around the premises of parliament at all times. But what I'm telling is that what NDC is exaggerating is for their desperation to be majority. We are not desperate to be majority. We are majority. So if there's going to be a fight or a quarrel tomorrow, that means the NDC is going to fight among themselves. We are not going to be invited for that, because we are majority and we are going to safeguard that, and we will not be invited to any chanting. You know, this year alone, the kind of trouble they have always wanted. We are fighting on Galamsey. We want voters auditing. We want to TUC to do this. We are doing all this fight. We are not interested in that. We will respect the decision of the Supreme Court. That's why we went into the right place. If we wanted to fight that day, the Speaker made the ruling, which was unnecessary, which was uncalled for. We will fight that day. But we went to the appropriate quarters, and we will continue to be at the appropriate quarters. I won't be invited into anything. We know Ghanaians respect the New Patriotic Party so much. Ghanaians know that we will not be involved in any kind of rioting to mar the democracy that we are all enjoying. And for the effect that we have less than 50 days to the election, we will not be invited to some things. If NDC is losing the election and they think that violence is going to save them, we will not be invited to that.
Thank you very much. And that day is Habib Idris, who's the first Deputy Majority Whip. And as I just been indicating, our own sources suggest that a coalition has been put together of statesmen in this country to try and intervene in this particular matter ahead of tomorrow's meeting. We're going to keep an eye on that and bring you the very latest developments on this. I want to bring in Dr. Rashid Rahman, is Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, who also joins me right now. Doc, I'm grateful for your time here on Top Story. Big day ahead, and from what we've heard from at least tonight from the MPP side, they are determined to go into Parliament tomorrow to take their regular seats on the majority side. Yesterday, all the way into this morning, we still heard from the NDC side, and they still insist that they are the majority side. We've just had clarity from Habib Idrisu, who says that in the last few hours, the Supreme Court, that verdict that was delivered, that injunction has now formally been served on Parliament. What's your own expectation going into tomorrow? How should this be resolved before 10 a.m. when Parliament is expected to sit?
Well, I have said that I think between Friday and now, up to maybe tomorrow before 10 a.m., the elders in this country would have to maybe show some leadership. And I think also the President, the Chief Justice, and the Speaker have to have a conversation. anybody who thinks that this matter is going to be resolved easily and we can rely on our parliamentarians to show decorum. I mean, the posturing that we have heard so far, including the fact that I just heard the communication from Parliament by the leader of the majority saying that the Parliament has been served. The right thing is going to be done, i.e., the NDC is going to take his seat before the Speaker's communication last week. That is it on the minority side. No, they are going to guard this newfound status jealously, and they will not surrender. So we are in for a showdown, and our democracy will be tested tomorrow more than it has ever been in this Fourth Republic. So, Evans, for me, I think a lot of work has to be done between now and tomorrow morning, if work has not already been done.
And I know, Doc, that you've been involved in the past mediating some settlement around some confusion and disturbances and disagreement between the both sides. Have you been invited at all? Have you heard anybody calling to say, join a team to go in there and try and resolve this?
No, I think on this occasion, no. And I was just using that previous experience as a guide, because at that time, our democracy was not as tested as it is going to be tomorrow. Yet, we had to go in with some elders, and we took the leadership of Parliament, including the Speaker, I believe after a lot of back and forth preparation and work, and took them far away from you guys. We said no media and no kind of outside interference. And I think it succeeded in bringing about some cool heads, and the work of Parliament continued. This time around, I don't know, I've heard that the Peace Council is doing some work, and I hope they succeed. I don't know whether the Chief Justice and the Speaker have communicated. I don't know whether the President and the Speaker have communicated. But, you know, if we are not careful, the little Evans trust that is left of democracy in general and our democracy, based on all the data that we have seen, Afrobarometer, everything says we are headed in the wrong direction. Last thing you want, a situation where we get a showdown like what we are about to see tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rashid Ramani. And tomorrow we have an exclusive coverage of this from all angles, very comprehensive for you, starting at 10 a.m. of what the Parliament House may be tomorrow. You want to stay with us for all the analysis and helping you appreciate the significance of that moment tomorrow. You want to stay with us. This is your election headquarters. News Night in a minute.
Kind of way, tell you so, the more money promo now,
Everybody likes money, but what do we like more than money? More money! Join the Telecel More Money promo and win money, more money, and even more money. Simply opt in for free and reload your mobile and broadband and be the lucky winner of the 1 million Ghana cedis grand prize. Also win cash prizes of up to 3 million Ghana cedis in the daily and weekly draws. Opt in for free by dialing *500# or send WIN to 500, or you can opt in on the Telecel Play app. The more you reload, the higher chances of winning in the Telecel More Money promo. Keep loading, win, and be a millionaire.
Telecel. Connecting energies.
Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me die, now my God with holy insecticide spray.
Holy
mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
Hello, my name is Mami Akua, an entrepreneur and a mother of two. My work keeps me busy most of the time, and sometimes it takes me away from my family. But the safety and health of my family is very important to me. As a working mother, I cannot afford to take any chances when it comes to matters of health. That is why I signed up for a family healthcare plan from Equity Health Insurance. My family and I have access to over 700 hospitals, clinics, opticians, dentists, pharmacies, and diagnostic centers across the length and breadth of Ghana. With Equity Health Insurance, I no longer have to worry about medical bills anytime a member of my family visits a hospital. Equity Health Insurance has got my family and I covered. What about you? Who has got you covered?
Call Equity Health Insurance on 050-660-7910 and talk to them about your family health needs now. Visit equityhealthinsurance.com for more information. Equity Health Insurance, here for you.
Smile. Athletes must protect their smile during athletic activities. Hi, I'm Tanya from Bethel Dental Clinic, Ghana. Protecting your teeth, gums, lips, and tongue from impacts and blows during sports is essential for preventing injuries and maintaining your oral health. Sports mouth guards are protective devices worn over your teeth and gums to prevent or reduce injuries such as athletic activities such as football, basketball, martial arts, skateboarding, and even non-contact sports like gymnastics. Contact a dental office to learn more about sports dentistry services to keep your smile safe. Bethel Dental Clinic, your partner in sports safety, because your smile deserves protection on and off the field.
Healthy smile.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
It's 47 days to the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. Tonight, police in the Ashanti region arrest 3 out of the about 8 armed persons who abducted and assaulted a multimedia crew at a mining site during the filming of illegal mining activities at Asumenya near Mansunkrang in the Ashanti region. We have details as Joy News journalist Erastus Asare Donko recounts the crew's near-death experience at the site.
Where is the owner? He said the owner has asked them to stop the vehicle and deal with us there. I said, what are you going to do exactly? I got 2 hot slaps from behind. Then they opened the doors and asked everybody, pushed everybody out. Then the beating started.
And the hashtag Stop Galamsey now still on. It's been 2 weeks since Labour called off its nationwide strike over Galamsey. The promise was to repeal LI 2462 in the first week of Parliament's resumption, but that has not been done. What will Labour do?
Bringing it to Parliament, I don't know, but we'll check it. Yeah, but so if it comes and it's a matter of doing revocation, what procedure and all would also be looked at. So you'll get to be updated on that.
Also tonight, weeks after calls for government to fix the erratic supply of food ahead of the reopening of schools, Charles says The Ministry of Education is yet to release funds for non-perishables and feeding of the students.
As at the time we went off was the fact that the supply was still erratic. It wasn't flowing in the way we expected. And that's why it was reiterated in the community.
Also, NPP MP for Subing says President Akufo-Addo acted unreasonably by keeping Ken Ofori-Atta, the Finance Ministry, for more than 7 years, as he says the failure to dismiss the former minister early created more problems for the economy.
You know the president, I've told you that he failed to act at the time, and a lot of Ghanaians, a lot of well-meaning Ghanaians felt that the president was very unreasonable. That's clear for everyone that he was unreasonable.
And in business, Chamber of Petroleum Consumer COPEC insists there's no justification for an increase in transport fares despite recent 7% adjustment in fuel prices.
In sports, it's just 5 days to Ghana's biggest corporate sporting events. The Joy Sports Invitational is set to come off this Saturday at the University of Ghana Stadium.
And the 1/8 stage of the National Science and Maths Quiz underway, in which school secures a spot in the next stage of the competition. Which school will it be? And certain ladies smiling. Do you have your school in this particular round?
Yes.
Okay, we'll see. You want to stay with us for that revelation here on News Night. My name is Mensah.
I am Emefa Apawu.
And let's start tonight with that harrowing story. The police in the Ashanti region have today arrested 3 of the individuals who are behind the abduction and assaulting of my colleague, Erastus Asari Donko, over the weekend. Joy News journalist Erastus Asari Donko and 3 other members of the Kumasi cluster of multimedia were subjected to violent attacks by illegal miners at Sumenya near Manson Kran in the Ashanti region on Sunday,
20th October 2024. Well, the multimedia group has come out to strongly condemn the attack and called on the police service to swiftly bring the perpetrators to face justice. And in the last few minutes, we've been telling you that there have been 3 arrests so far. We'll bring you also the details of that statement from the multimedia group shortly. But first, listen to this chilling account of the incident as narrated by Erastus Asari Donko on the AM show on the Joy News channel this morning.
Because then they took hold of everything we had. They ran a body test on each of us, took everything we had in our pocket, the drone, the camera, and everything, and then forced us into our own vehicle. Because one of the armed men sat behind the driver and asked him to follow their vehicle. And so we followed their vehicle. We were flanked by motorcycles with all of them armed. A vehicle behind us with armed people, a vehicle ahead of us, so we were sandwiched in between. And they said we were going to the next town. When we reached the next town, they bypassed the next town and was going into the bush. So I got scared and asked them, where are you taking us? They wouldn't tell us. They said, if the driver will not drive, they will force him out and bring their driver to drive the vehicle. And this was at a gunpoint. So I had to tell the driver to cooperate, go with them. So we followed them. We drove for about another 20 minutes. We reached a secluded forest area. And then they asked us to get down. That was where I got scared, because when you say we should get down, are you going to shoot us? What are you going to do? So I was trying to find out from the gentleman. And then I received 2 hot slaps that I was asking stupid questions. I should get out. So I got out.
Can you identify the one who slapped you?
So they format my phone. I said, why would you want to format my phone? He said, I'm taking pictures of the mining site, and so they want to delete it. I said, fine. If you want to delete the pictures are taken, which is unlawful, but I will still open the phone for you to do that. But to say you are formatting my phone and clearing everything, that one I disagree. So at this point, I got another 2 hot slaps from behind.
Who was this person slapping you? Do you know?
Everybody. One will come and slap you, the other one will come and punch you in the face, just like that. We went there with a branded vehicle. Our jackets were branded with Joy News. They asked of our names and our designation. We gave it to them. They knew who we were. They even, at the point, removed the Joy News jacket from me. And until now, I still don't have it. It's with them.
Wow. These things are always at a point you realize that anything could have happened. Your life could have been taken by these gentlemen. You are afraid for your life and that of your crew.
In fact, it's scary to think that just by doing your job, you could fall into such near death experience. And when they asked us to get down, that was, it was like they were going to shoot us, gun us down. So that was what was going through my mind. And I wouldn't want to get out of the vehicle. And I kept asking them what they were going to do. And I think that infuriated them. But at the end of it all, they took the SD card from the drone, from the camera. I think their motive was to prevent whatever they were doing on that mining site, which was totally criminal and evil, from going out. And so they took the SD card, they formatted some of our phones, they deleted some from my phone as well. But what's important is that they took the drone battery, 5 of them. It was in a bag with a Lenovo tablet, which we use to run the drone. These are expensive tools that we use, and until now we don't have them.
That's Erastus Asaridonko. He's a GJA Journalist of the Year, and together with a team, this is what they went through. Their crime was just to film a documentary on the impact of illegal mining. Well, the multimedia group has a statement to that effect. Evans Mensah, what does it say?
Yeah, I mean, this is one that we took very seriously as far as the assault on our colleagues are concerned. There are 3 of them, Erastus, but there's also the multimedia journalist Nicholas Swanta, who was also part of the group that went to cover what was happening there. And then Edward Ako is a driver, and Majid Alidu, who is a drone pilot. So these individuals were all colleagues of ours, were out there doing their jobs. So this is what we say, that we strongly condemn the violent attack on 40 members by armed men at the Sumenya near Mansonkran in the Shanti region on Sunday, on the 20th of October 2024. The team was covering the recent resurgence of illegal mining activities, causing destruction in parts of the newly restored Sumenya Forest Reserve, as well as the pollution of streams feeding into the Ankobra River. Now, during the assignment, more than 10 heavily armed men wielding pump-action guns attacked the crew, forcibly abducted them to a remote location, subjected them to physical abuse, and later abandoned them at the scene. And the attackers also confiscated items, including SD cards and drone batteries, after deleting footage of the investigation from all devices. And they had Erastus narrate that. The incident has been reported to the police. We have done so, and we appreciate the swift response by the Inspector General of Police, IGP, to apprehend the attackers. We unequivocally condemn this assault on our journalists and call on the Ghana Police Service to ensure that the perpetrators are swiftly brought to justice, with all those involved held accountable to the full extent of the law. No journalist should ever be subjected to such brutality for simply performing their duties, especially when addressing critical issues like ecologically devastating Galamsey operations. As a further state of the realm, journalism plays a vital role in bringing attention to issues that affect our society. We therefore call for greater protection of journalists across the country. And this is copied to the Ghana Journalists Association, and they're backing this, the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, and the National Media Commission.
And management has been in touch with the team. And how's their status we speak this evening?
Their welfare is paramount, and thankfully we know that they suffered injuries on their passing. We know that they are all doing well after the initial assessment by doctors, and we keep following up to ensure that, of course, their welfare is taken care of supremely. But this step, the next step, obviously, is to ensure that justice is served and these individuals who carried out the assault are dealt with. And we're seeing that the 3 arrests have been made by the police, and we're going to keep this going until all individuals have been arrested and fully prosecuted.
And we've been hearing from stakeholders on the fight against Galamsey, and they've been reacting to this development. Convener of the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining, Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, is demanding action.
The whole thing about this genocide and ecocide, and then combined with that is this attack on journalists. And it's completely unacceptable, for the police to, invite people they should even be arrested, who are in the middle of the theater of a crime, who have kidnapped a journalist, who have kidnapped, who are beating up journalists. The fourth estate of the realm. If the executive had been attacked, if the
the legislature had been attacked or the judiciary had been attacked. Is it the attitude the police are going to, show? So I think that we all need to be. I don't even know what word to use, but this is not anything that we are going to leave. The Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey, when we had it yesterday, we immediately are taking steps to ensure that justice is done for the attack on Erastus, and also these people who are involved in an activity that government is saying that it's fighting. The law, the book is thrown at them, and we urge the IGP immediately to take steps to make sure that whether it's the district police commander or the whatever police commander it is brought to book.
There are also demands for the arrest of the mining site owners. Listen to Martin Pebu.
I'm extremely shocked that we have the what we call accused person, or let me say the prime suspects before the police, and the police are not arresting them. The owners must be the first to be taken in, because obviously, on the facts of this case, they've hired other persons to commit a crime for them, so they have to be taken in. I'm seeing the Vigilantism and Related Offences Act being applicable. If you employ somebody to come and do such vigilantism, you yourself, you are liable, and all the other offences. So the police can be held to say they are now looking for the tags themselves. No, you take the owners, invite them in for the investigations to commence, because so far the thing is that, when you look even into the Minerals Mining Act, when you are given a concession, you have to protect it. So how did these tags come in there that the owners didn't protect the land, etc.? And the pointing of guns, this is shocking, to be honest. Look, I haven't seen a better case than this one. This is open and shut. The owners have a case to answer themselves. It's not only about the tags.
Well, so that's Martin Pebu there. He's a legal practitioner.
And I want to bring in right now, joining us, Suleimana Brahima, who is Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa. Kofi Dudomfe is my colleague, editor at Lava FM, also joins us. And I want to start with him. Kofi, we've learned a bit more today, have we not, in terms of the work that the police is doing to arrest all these thugs who assaulted our colleagues. Tell us more.
Thank you, Evans. So this morning, our assaulted colleagues were asked by the Kwai police commander to come around for some words. When they arrived, a team of police officers was put together to take Erastus and the others back to the site where the incident happened. But unfortunately, when they arrived there, they couldn't find anybody. But what is interesting is that it became apparent that the Mansour Adubia district police commander who led the officers would not want to travel further from where the incident actually happened. And he was giving some excuses that their new pickup vehicles could not travel that far. He also gave very specific instructions that we couldn't take any pictures of the degraded site where we visited today. And before they took their crew to the site, the police made us aware that 3 people had been arrested, and 2 of them were actually identified as part of those who assaulted our crew. So as it stands now, one of the things that is of urgency to us is the fact that we want to retrieve our drone batteries, also a headset, tablets, and the backpack containing our drone certificate. And this is the appeal that we've urgently sent to the police as they continue the investigation to assist us to retrieve these from those who assaulted the crew.
And Kofi, we know that the first police response was to take them back. They met the individuals, and it appears that it was almost like a negotiation. This was the second attempt now that has led to the arrest. Even in the first attempt when they met them, they did not release all the items that they seized from us.
And that's the impunity we are worried about, because we expected that the police at least would have made the necessary efforts to get these equipment released to us whilst they continue with their own investigation. And that's what actually baffles us as to why up to now they've not been able to let us have access to these materials.
And talking about the welfare of our colleagues, how are they faring, all of them?
Traumatized. The camera technician came around. I've asked him to go back to the hospital for further checks because the slaps that he received, according to him, were that massive. Erastus is also having to suffer from one of his eyes because of the assault that he received. So he's also going back to see specialists. So we are covered. The other two are also doing the same. We want to have a thorough medical checkup on them, so we are sure of their health status. That is devastating.
Thank you very much, Kofi. And Suleiman Abrahama is on the line with me. Mr. Abrahama, I'm grateful that you stayed on the line with us. You've heard the latest developments. Your reaction? Hello, Mr. Abrahama. Okay, I may have lost him there on the line. We'll try and reconnect and establish a contact to him. But this won't stop us. It won't. And I know Erastus, he's made of steel. This is not the first time he's been threatened or assaulted in line of his work, and none of us will stop too. And when we say that we're bold, fearless, and credible, this is what it means. But it does not give anybody a right to lift a hand because you're doing our jobs, simply bringing you the reports that many won't dare do, but we will, and we'll continue to do exactly that. And we'll follow this to its logical conclusion in terms of the work that the police itself is doing in arresting the rest of these thugs who assaulted our colleagues and seized the equipment. And you heard Kofi there say that our drone batteries are still with them, and we will do everything humanly possible to try and retrieve that. So listen to News Night is on Joy 99.7 FM.
And may I add the hashtag Defend Media Freedom. We'll stay a while longer on hashtag Stop Galamsey now. You know, it's been 2 weeks since organized labor led by the Trade Union Congress called off its planned demonstration to push President Akufo-Addo into taking decisive action on the Galamsey men as well. Organized labor, after an assurance from government, including the promise to repeal LI 2462, decided to give government a deal with the menace. We know the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, in collaboration with the security agencies and regional ministers, sent security men to crack the whip. But tonight the question we ask is, 2 weeks on, what does organized labor make of government's efforts so far? Before we bring you that report, we'll bring back Suleiman Abrahama, right?
Yes, he just joined us on the line. Mr. Abrahama, I'm grateful that you joined us. Also, reaction to the latest development, 3 people have been arrested, but we still have not managed to retrieve all the equipment that was seized from us. And as we know, the police went there the first time and they met the individuals, took some of the items that we seized, but they still have a bit more with them.
Well, Evans, I think that this is very, very horrific. This shouldn't be happening in a country that is touted as very democratic, where rule of law is supposed to be the order of the day. But it appears that around the region and around the world, the kind of journalists who are going through very horrific incidents like what Erastus and his colleagues went through are environmental journalists, folks who are working to ensure that the right stories are told and persons behind environmental destruction are exposed and brought to book. Well, for me, it is gratifying that we are hearing about 3 people have been picked up by the police. I think that is quite a significant development. I should hope that the police would do everything possible to ensure that the perpetrators are brought to book. This shouldn't be one of those cases where we say we utterly condemn and we are shocked by this, and then at the end of it, perpetrators go scot-free. So we would all closely follow the developments. This is a story of significant interest to us. At any point in time, if multimedia needs any support to be able to engage lawyers, we are happy to do that. We are happy to support any form of, legal action that may be taken. Civil, of course, the criminal side, we expect the police and the government to do that. So I cannot just understand why these should be happening these things should be happening in our country? Well, it's because we've tolerated the impunity, and people believe once they are closer to power, once they have money and all of that, they can just abuse people and go scot-free. But this mustn't be one of them.
And let's see, there's a call by today we heard from Martin Kpebu that the area that we covered that led to this assault is actually being run by a company, and that company has a name, Adil Matalom Resources Limited, and that is a place to start because you're looking for the others who are currently on the run. The police doing a great job arresting 3, but they're looking for the rest. What do you make of that suggestion that it's good now to target the company itself? Because if these individuals were acting in their name, then they can assist this investigation.
Absolutely. I mean, I would expect that by now maybe multimedia should have basically done some of the checks to be able to establish who the owners of this company are. And that for me is a good way to go about it. It shouldn't be about, people are on the run. Once it is not a Galamsey site where you say, you stormed there and people have scattered, you cannot identify those who were there. But we are talking about a company. A company cannot run. The directors of the company cannot run. The managers of the company are people who we would certainly get to know. And so those who may have run basically perhaps thought that they may have covered themselves. But I believe in the end, once we get to know the owners and the people behind the company, that would be a good way to proceed. So it's a case that I believe, and especially at this time when the government says it is cracking down on these issues of illegal mining and so on, if it was legal and they were mining, I mean, why would they take offense with journalists who are there, just there to do their job? I mean, if they were mining and doing it in an environmentally sound way, why would they be afraid? I think they should be proud to even discuss with the journalists about how they are going about their work. So to the extent that they will do this is an indication of how destructive their activities might be, and how they feel they are powerful enough to do anything and go scot-free. But like I said, I think this at least should be a test case to prove to people that if you feel a journalist is doing something that you don't like, if you feel you are offended by a journalist, use the law, resort to the law. If you think that the journalists don't have a right to come to your concession, resort to the law. But you don't abuse the law just because perhaps you feel you are well connected and you have the resources to do whatever you want. But as I said, this is a matter that we should all be concerned about. Erastus has dedicated himself to doing a lot of these stories to help save our environment, and we cannot leave him alone. We certainly would take this matter very seriously.
Thank you very much. And that day, Suleimana Brahima, Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa.
Well, we can then return to that news desk report on the events leading to Labour's final decision to back down.
Our strike remains unchanged. I want to repeat, the strike notice remains unchanged.
That was the clarion call by organised labour pressuring government to stamp out the menace of illegal mining that had ravaged forests, reserves and water bodies. They mirrored the nation's anger, signalling that they were unprepared to back down until the following demands were met.
The government will collaborate with organised labour and the stakeholders in the fight against Galamsey. Number 2, the government will take steps when Parliament reconvenes this month to revoke the Mining and Forest Reserve Regulation 2023 LI 2462. Again, government would ramp up its enforcement measures, particularly prohibiting the mining in water bodies and forest areas.
However, the demonstration, which was widely anticipated, was suspended just a day before its start. Labour leaders announced that they had received assurances from government that it would address their list of demands. Chief among them would be the repeal of the legislative instrument 2462, which legalizes mining in forest reserves.
Following this meeting, government offered enhanced and time-bound measures in respect of our demands and the fight against illegal mining. Organized labor has therefore decided to suspend the intended strike action.
But the crux in labor was deep. UTAG was livid about the turn of events, insisting that it was a wrong move. After those teetering 2 weeks, it appears that government's promises have not been fully realized. While some action has been taken, such as the deployment of military personnel to known Galamsey hotspots, these measures seem far from comprehensive. But the real question is, where is organized labor? Have they gone to sleep?
Well, at the resumption of Parliament, though, we heard from the Majority Leader, Alexander Afenyo-Marking, saying that they are beginning to take steps to repeal the LI 2462, and that has still not happened. At least we are in the third week of Parliament resumption, and nothing on this LI just yet. We're hoping that when they resume tomorrow, amidst all the chaos, we'll get to hear something about this LI. But my colleague James Aveji has been interacting with Labour on what exactly the next line of action will be. What did they tell you?
Yes, Emefa. So sources in there indicate to us that Labour is also worried about the fact that in the first week of Parliamentary resumption, they've not been able to begin attempts to repeal this, but their understanding is that this could be because of the back and forth between the minority and the majority with what happened on Thursday as well. But they will be meeting in the course of the week to determine the next line of action, assess what government has done so far in the past 2 weeks, and also take a decision on what to do next as far as the promises of government and their action so far is concerned.
Thank you very much, James. And many of you have been texting us via WhatsApp your messages. Let's go through some of them.
Yes, and many of you are worried and concerned, and rightfully so, condemning what has happened in the assault on our colleagues. Jonathan in Gawe says, we condemn the attack on the Joy FM journalist. Ghana is becoming a failed state, and it is sad this way. We wish the injured speedy recovery. God bless the multimedia family. This one says, sorry for Irasa Saridonko, but ultimately I blame organized labor for this. #Newsnight. Samin Kumasi says, it is sad and disheartening that 24 hours after the harrowing attack on Irasa Saridonko and his team, in their quest to save the country from Galamseyers, till now, leadership of the country, they've not said anything to console this hard-working team. We are not safe under this current administration. Then on the Sprinters Route says, please, all journalists in Ghana must act to support Erastus Asaridonko. And you also have Nana Ikwama Boateng says the NDC, a minority in parliament, has clearly demonstrated that they have lost the 2024 elections in advance, hence want to use foul means to clinch to the majority position in parliament. And Musa Abator says, Evans, I urge a new majority group to stay resolute and firmly to carry out their duty as required by law.
Those are your messages. Thanks for sending them in. When we return from the break, we'll focus on the senior high schools weeks after calls for government to fix the erratic supply of food ahead of the reopening of schools. Charles says the Ministry of Education is yet to release funds for non-perishables and feeding of the students. Plus, we have our Streets of Despair, and then the latest from the National Science and Maths Quiz. Mr. Ishen is here with the latest from the world of business. Hello.
Hi, Emefa. Coming up in business this evening, Chamber of Petroleum Consumers COPEC insists there is no justification for an increase in transport fares despite recent 7% adjustment in fuel prices. And the Institute of Economic Affairs describes sale of Newmont at Chim Gold Mine to China's Zhenjiang Mining Group as flawed and inimical to Ghana's interest. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business, Kingdom Books and Stationery, Syntex Tanks, and Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal.
Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh. page and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Attention CEOs, join Ghana's top 1,000 CEOs, policymakers, political leaders, and ambassadors for the first Ghana CEO Presidential Manifesto Gala Dinner 2024 on November 7, 2024 at the Mervyn Pig Hotel, Accra from 6 to 10:30 p.m. This historic event will focus on reigniting the business economy and social contract for growth, a business manifesto for political accountability and sustainable development. Special guests of honor include His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, Vice President of Ghana, and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, former President of Ghana. Attendance is by invitation and requires pre-registration. Register at ceogaladina.ceonetworkgh.com. For inquiries, contact 0546391970 or email ceogaladina@gmail.com. This event is powered by Chief Executives Network Ghana in partnership with Deloitte, PwC, University of Ghana, SIGA, GIPC, UPSA Law, and the Multimedia Group. The first Ghana CEO Presidential Manifesto Gala Dinner 2024, connecting political ambitions with business realities.
Yeah. We have a new leader in town. OBRNT. Amanfo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal pack with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
Imagine having access to top-notch educational resources, no matter your grade of school or location in Ghana. With the Ghana Knowledge and Skills Bank, you can tap into a vast library of resources, even in offline mode. From primary all the way to tertiary education, we've got you covered. As a student, you have access to past questions from 1990 to date for BEC, WASSCE, and tertiary test examinations. As a teacher or lecturer, you can hold virtual classes for your students and share your lecture notes for their use. As an educator or researcher, you can publish your books or articles for public consumption. And lastly, you have your own studies teacher or AI tutor who is trained to teach you in any subject topic till you fully understand. So whether you're a student, educator, content creator, researcher, or entrepreneur, the Ghana Knowledge and Skills Bank was made just for you. Sign up today at www.gksb.gov.gh. The Ghana Knowledge and Skills Bank, where learning has no limits and the possibilities are endless. This project was financed by the World Bank under the erstwhile e-Transform project at the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization.
Efia, I've been thinking. Have you noticed the changes in our community?
Kojo, things are really different now. The MPP has really made a difference.
Exactly. Free SHS, healthcare, new factories. It's like a whole new Ghana.
And don't forget, electricity is so much reliable now. I remember when we used to go days without light.
True. The NPP has done a lot to improve the basics.
Ajua is a beneficiary of free SHS. And now, she is in university.
And that's the kind of leadership we need. Someone who is focused on making things better for everyone. But Efia, still there are a lot more to be done for the development of Ghana.
Absolutely, Kojo. The NPP has shown that real progress is possible.
On December 7th, let's vote to keep this positive impact going. Vote number 1 on the ballot. Vote NPP for a better and prosperous Ghana.
The luckiest.
Star 712 #.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah.
Welcome and non-fufua. A daily star 712 # and found no regrets. A Sankoma investors are a striking gold. A Koma health workers are a diagnosing luck with precision. A Sankoma that tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. Say a Koma passionate fan also entering containing a joy. Afraid to the seamstresser or turning a hard-earned stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now, a Koma, if you say your next big win is right here.
The luckiest.
Star 712 #.
Luck is everywhere.
Dial star 712 hash and join the luckiest winning celebration. From the 1st of July 2024, dial star 712 hash to keep buying tickets as a group, individual, or even as a community. Win loads of cash and prizes in the community draw or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with star 712 hash. Join the winning streak now.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. I am James Ishan. Let's settle for the details. First off, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers (COPEC) has strongly stated that there's no reason for an increase in public transport fares. This is despite an increase of about 7% in fuel prices. Speaking to Joy Business, Executive Secretary Duncan Amwa said there's no tangible reason for an increase.
I have had conversations with some of the transport operators in recent times where they were insisting that prices of fares should go up. Now, what I keep asking of them is not to be in a haste to increase transport fares, because we have been at the levels that we currently are before. Fuel at 14.49, 15. We've been at those levels before. Fares didn't go up. It came down and it's gone back to those levels. I think that transport operators should come back slowly and not be excited about the fact that prices have gone up, so they need to also go and increase fares. I do not think that the time is ripe yet.
Duncan Amwa is the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. Now to some other stories. The Institute of Economic Affairs has expressed dismay about the sale of Newmont's Achim Gold Mine project in Ghana to China's Xinjiang Mining Group for 1 billion cedis. Describing the deal as flawed in several respects, the IEA said the sale is inimical to Ghana's interest and unacceptable. The following report as well.
According to the IEA, Ghana needs a complete paradigm shift in its mineral contracts by taking ownership of the minerals to create job opportunities, wealth, and technical capacity development for Ghanaians. The IEA noted that the project lease was signed between the Ghana government and Newmont on 19th January 2010 and has an expiry period of 15 years that is valid until 19th January 2025. According to the terms, the lease is transferable within the duration period, subject to mutual agreements between the government and Newmont. The lease is also subject to extension after its expiry date by mutual agreement. The lease has not yet expired, and therefore any decision by Newmont to sell the mine must be on a transfer basis and must be for the unexpired term only and subject to government agreement. The IEA said at the end of the expiry period, Newmont is obliged to hand over the mine back to government, the truthful owner of the gold under the assigned land. Any company that wants to operate the mine after the expiry date of the lease must sign a new contract with government.
And that was a News Desk report. Now, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization has launched a 4-day capacity building program on maintenance and troubleshooting of various laboratory equipment to help improve rice quality. Speaking in an interview with Joy Business, the UNIDO Capacity Building Coordinator David Darko emphasized the need for efficiency in improving the quality of rice in the country.
This 4-day training is to help them so that they'll be able to improve their skills in preventive maintenance and troubleshooting of lab equipment. The trainees will then go to their various institutions to do a cascade training so that they will be able to help and maintain the equipment, so that they will be able to reduce idle time, downtime, reduce cost, be efficient, so that the equipment will be able to test and improve the quality of rice.
Right, and to my final story, EcoBank Ghana has refurbished ICT labs for some selected schools in the country to help in educating children as part of the bank's annual EcoBank Day. Speaking at a ceremony after handing over the ICT lab to the South Laboni Girls Technical Institute, the managing director of EcoBank Ghana, Abena Osepoku, said the center will help equip the youth with the best possible skills that will set them up for the job market.
For this special occasion, as EcoBank Group, we are donating to SLATEC the following. One is the ICT laboratory, which has already been mentioned, was refurbished last year and is now converted into a digital center. 2, we are also providing free internet connectivity. 3, we are going to provide free tuition for 6 months on web development, animation, robotics, and artificial intelligence. I think I should join this class myself. And then 4, a refurbished library, fully equipped with furniture and supplementary readers for upper primary and JHS students.
Abner Poku is the Managing Director of EcoBank Ghana PLC. And that's all for business on Newsnight with me, James Ishin. Over to you, Evans.
Thank you very much, James. This is live your Newsnight. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. Let's go to school.
And the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, CHAS, says government is here to supply schools with food items and release funds for non-perishables to feed the students as schools prepare to reopen.
At its 62nd conference in Tamale, the school heads raised concern about the erratic supply of food items and funds for non-perishables. In an 8-page communique issued by CHAS, lamented over how the issue has become a nightmare for many school heads, and they're struggling. Earlier this year, as we know, a Joy News documentary, Empty Plates, highlighted some school heads who face this particular challenge on a daily basis. Yeah, except of this.
Here in the central region, the harsh reality comes to life. A dining hall prefect, Sambali, informs first-year students of the insufficient food supply. Their meals are reduced to simple, often nutritionally inadequate options. This situation is not unique to the central region, but is echoed across schools in other regions.
It's unfortunate that our food is not enough. As I have told you earlier, we have no food at the schools, and the master is in Accra now fighting for food for our own benefit. So we are pleading with you to manage the little here, and we promise you very soon there will be enough food for us so that we can all enjoy ourselves. Thank you.
Well, James, my colleague James Ofeji joins us with a copy of that communique from the 62nd conference in Tamale. James, let's first look at the issue of erratic supply of food items. What were the concerns of CHAS?
Well, according to the statement, the continuous feeding of boarding students on credit is increasingly becoming a stressful and unbearable one for head teachers. The erratic supply of non-perishable food items to distribution centers and the irregular release of funds to the schools for perishables have also become a nightmare. Now, the heads are spending all the time chasing food items at the expense of supervising the kids and monitoring their teaching and learning activities. That's what they say.
Okay, thank you very much. These are portions of that communique from the school. We've been hearing from the National Secretary for CHAS, Barrow Primus, has been speaking to us about this particular situation. Well, we'll definitely get to hear from Barrow shortly because they actually made these concerns known in the presence of the Education Minister, Dr. Yawasi Educhum, in Tamale during this particular conference. But it does appear that weeks down the line, the situation remains. Yes, Barrow.
The prevailing situation is as we have stated it. Fortunately, we're just resuming. We're just resuming from our holiday, especially in the case of the single track schools, the transitional schools that are in session now. We just hope. We don't know what the situation looks like. We've alerted government that they need to provide the schools with the food before we reopen. We hope that will be done. The assurance was given to us again by the minister. We just hope that the assurance materializes into what we expect. So the prevailing situation, as at the time we went off, was the fact that the supply was still erratic. It wasn't flowing in the way we expected. And that's why it was reiterated in the committee.
So that's the National Secretary of CHAS there with these concerns. I think it's a good time to bring in Mr. Cranting, here's the latest from the world of sports.
Hi, Emefa. Let's go straight into the stories. And it's just 5 days to Ghana's biggest corporate sporting event, the Joy Sports Invitational, which is set to come off this Saturday at the University of Ghana Stadium in Legon. The events on the day include men's football, women's penalty shootout, the tug of peace, masters, 50-meter dash, tennis, basketball, and many more. Ahead of the big day, Joy Sports Muftar Nabila Abdullah caught up with the CEO of Jetlinks Ghana Limited, Nat Nabla, who claims to have employed the services of Sudan head coach James Kwesi Appiah.
When I saw this football, I was like, well, I don't know whether if you are Frank Lampard or you are Michael Essien or...
At the moment, I'm just coming from the camp, from the training camp. The team is there. So I just arrived from the camp. Actually, our team is at Sudan. Yes. So I just don't want to talk about much so they are coming.
No, you know when you say Sudan, you get many Ghanaians disappointed.
Yes, you know what happened. Our team is in Sudan. They are training with the Sudanese team. So I'm just arriving from there this morning. Yeah.
Bragging Bob.
I tell you. But there's another very interesting thing in this year's edition. There's going to be an interdepartmental battle between
I'm looking forward to the Joy News
and Joy Sports.
Yes.
That's a hands down. I mean, that's not even a context. It's not a context. I mean, I'm gonna be. In fact, today you should watch a video that I recorded with Fentio. We did the demonstration, just like a dry run of just hand wrestling, and it was within a second. I just put him down just like that.
To be frank,
broke no sweat.
That's why I will not do that. No, but see, to be frank, I think you should employ the services of your listeners, because looking at your fitness levels are low. You need help.
Have you seen him on the treadmill?
I don't need to see you. See, I have a special gift when I look into your
but that's why. But I'll even ask him when they're doing the medicals. They go on the treadmill.
Please, you don't give out our trade secret.
Yes, it's true.
Will there be gobe eating competition?
There will be gobe.
Then now when you're out, the vice president has one.
Today I had one.
Well, let's do Streets of Despair. We are looking forward to that. Joy Sports Invitational, of course, is the biggest corporate event. You can't miss it. At just 5 years old, Ernest Opoku was forced to abandon his dreams of becoming a doctor, told to quit school and rear livestock instead. In a similarly tragic twist, Kofi Appiah also found himself on the streets, fleeing the neglect he faced at home. In this episode of Streets of Despair, Clinton Yeboah explores the stories of these two survivors, Kofi Appiah and Ernest Opoku. Spend some time with them. Their lives reflect the harsh realities of family abandonment.
Here is Ernest, but that's not his birth name. Born as Opoku Somi in the Wa Municipal District in Ghana's Upper West region, the then 16-year-old changed his name to shed the memories of neglect and rejection he has endured from his own family. At an ambitious age of 5, he was told blatantly to quit school and rear sheep and goats. A young boy convinced of becoming a medical doctor in the future. Now at 30, he tells a story of hardship and abandonment from family. So my young siblings were allowed to go to school, but I was not. I resisted my exemption. I cried. His life took a dramatic turn when he had to forgo his ambition and survive as a trotro mate, enduring long hours and sheltering in the bars for 5 long years.
5 years
5 years and I had still not been taught how to drive. I realized I was wasting time.
At least,
through his disappointment, a helper came along with a tricycle to work with. Ernest makes a livelihood carrying loads throughout the day to feed himself and his nuclear family. I can say the man has been a savior. Left to my family alone, my life would have been stale.
Let's say, Brabon, dear, coming woman.
A cobbler, Kofi Boateng, makes way through the crowd trying to spot dirty shoes. His situation mirrors Ernest in several ways. His dream of becoming a professional chef was crushed when financial struggles and family neglect pushed him into looking for means to survive as a shoemaker.
You see, it will now if I know one mammy on Tiasia, the mammy, the crack. You are going to question. You really am no mission of that guy.
I couldn't continue after I trained as a chef, so I stopped to scout for a livelihood with no support at all. The family support was one-sided, and I received none.
Support me, we don't do room, but I would do one side. One side in, one side, I need not quite size. Get a new opportunity, but if you
under a cold weather without shelter, he passes the night under the Asafo Bridge against security vulnerabilities. His determination affords him the opportunity to hawk his cobbling in the bustling markets of Asafo to cater for his children who are far from him. The phenomenon of streetism has been majorly fueled by family neglect and social pressures. On the streets of Kumasi, many of these children are growing without guidance, shelter, and security. The long-term effects are devastating. Professor Kojo Oforidia is an associate professor at the Department of Sociology and Social Work at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
There are multiplicity of factors: broken homes, neglected parents, abusive urban migration, poverty. How do we solve these issues? The social welfare is supposed to relate in this. Unfortunately for them too, they also have problems.
Reporting for Joy News, my name is Clinton Yeboah.
And that's our Streets of Despair, ending today's edition of Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. We have some more messages. Let's go through them, do we?
Not yet. I'll be bringing you a few more shortly here on Newsnight. Just before we wrap up, and many of you still getting in touch on the assault on our colleagues, and so we'll get more pretty shortly. And this one says, very sad to note, all the blame goes to the disorganized labor. Speedy recovery, friends. Joy in that command there. And this is a second texter to us, blaming organized labor for what had happened, the assault on our colleagues. And this one has Nonemi says, at Multimedia Group, Learn Never To, he says that, they own the power. And this one says, it's not just about retrieving your drone batteries and other equipment alone. The mining thugs must be arrested, apprehended, and prosecuted. And we are with you on that. And this is why we commit to follow through that this happen.
And Nanan Sakwao is up next with That's My Opinion. But what are we looking at on PM Express tonight?
Oh, we're having a conversation. You know that Asogli is still down.
Yeah.
They shut it down. We're having a conversation about the revenue question, the ECD revenue question. But of course, the big thing is tomorrow. I'm looking ahead to tomorrow's conversation. That's the conversation we're having tonight.
I think we should all go to Parliament tomorrow.
I'm going to Parliament tomorrow.
You want to be there?
Yes, I've assigned myself.
Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen.
No, yeah, but
we are all over it for you.
Yes,
That's something we can assure you.
Beginning from 10 a.m. We are all over that for you. Special discussions looking at implications, etc. And listen, we have some exclusive details that you can only hear here because we know there's a lot happening in the background tonight to try and get the two sides to reach some resolution ahead of 10 a.m. Whether it works or not.
In spite of the legal processes that have been triggered.
Exactly.
Okay.
Whether it works or not, we'll tell you first when you join us at 10 a.m.
Well, I'll start off from PM Express tonight. But
Yes.
is up next with That's My Opinion. Please do stay. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apawu.
My name is Mensah. Enjoy the rest of your